Happy day. Welcome to this module on Introduction to E-commerce. In this session, we will brief on the introduction to e-commerce, its types and the various models which are prominently available for conducting e-commerce transactions. E-commerce is a technology which is impeccable in today's digital era. It is buying and selling of the goods and services using an online platform. It is a part of a bigger subset which is called as e-business. E-business involves all kinds of transactions between business houses. E-commerce transactions are done through various online platforms. It can be through mobile transactions. The basic difference between e-commerce and e-business is that e-commerce transactions involves the usage of business to consumer transactions, whereas e-business involves all transactions which generally happens between the business houses. In e-commerce, you have main transactions between the business house and the consumer involving the buying and the selling of the products or the services through online platform and basically the internet. In e-business, the transactions that happens in the business houses, basically it can involve many online platforms or it can also involve intranet, extranet and so. These transactions needs to be more secure as the amount of transaction that is involved here is tremendous when compared to e-commerce. To start with the evolution of e-commerce, it dates back from 1990 to the current era. 1990 started with the establishment of the usage of online or the internet resource into the digital transaction purpose. Slowly, the adoption has become an impeccable involvement in various organizations for building their brand over the internet and gaining global consumers. The development of e-commerce is also being done because of the adoption of two more other technologies. One being EFT or electronic fund transfer and the second being EDI, which is electronic data interchange. The first one, electronic fund transfer. It is also called as wire transfer. It is a digital transfer of the cash through the online platform. Here, a secure payment method needs to be involved so that the transactions happen without any flaw. The second technology which also aids in the growth of e-commerce is your electronic data interchange. Data in any form is being shared and communicated via standard protocols between the business houses so that paperless transaction and effectiveness in the transaction is maintained between the business houses. Coming on to the second topic in this module, which is the types of e-commerce. There are basically 5 basic methods in which e-commerce transactions happen. Let us see one by one. Business to business transaction being the first in the list. Business to business transaction involves any kind of transaction between the business houses. Here, huge amount of data transfer and fund transfer happens between the businesses. This has to be done in a very secure method and the organizations need not be located maybe even within the same continent. The second, business to consumers. This again occupies a very large percentage of transactions happening over the internet in the current era. Here, consumers can place their orders in various web portals which are available for business transactions and consumers also proceed with the payment system using secure methods. This has been of great advantage to the consumers and the business houses in the recent days. The third is consumer to consumer kind of a transaction. In this method, consumers use an online platform, a third-party online platform in order to have the facility of transacting services or products among themselves. Some external payment charges or commission charges are also levied by these online platforms which provide the services among the consumers. The fourth in the list being business to government. This is a type of e-commerce method in which business houses have government organizations as their customer base. The marketplace for this type of e-commerce transaction happens to be business agencies where huge amount of transactions are again exchanged. The last one in the list is business processes. This is basically the type of business, e-business organizations. It involves all kind of activities like the customer maintenance, customer relationship, supply chain management, value additions and so, which helps to evaluate a business process more effectively when compared to the traditional method. Going on to the topic on the advantage and the disadvantages of e-commerce. E-commerce generally is creating an enlarged marketplace for business houses. It creates a global market space which is available to them 24/7 at the convenience of their gadgets. This actually also is provided with various analytics and insights that can be gained to gain successful reporting about the target consumers that the organization can reach out to. A physical or a temporal restriction is definitely being removed when we use e-commerce transactions. On the other hand, it is also accompanied with a lot of disadvantages. A lack of personal touch is the first and foremost disadvantage that many of us feel when we go in for e-commerce transaction. Now, dealing on with the disadvantages, a lack of personal touch is the first and foremost disadvantage that we all face generally. Technical issues and security issues as far as the usage of the network is another difficulty that we are forced to face. Immense online competition along with the taxation and legal difficulties also are some other difficulties faced with e-commerce transactions. The next topic being the revenue models. The greatest use of implementing e-commerce technology is in creating a revenue model, a business revenue model, which is of apt usage based on the type of consumers and the products available to them. There are various types of established business models which have been used by online sites. To list the major ones as such: web catalog model, digital content subscription model, advertising supported model, advertising subscription model, advertising subscription mixed model, fee for transaction model, fee for service model. All these models work both for business to business transactions as well as to business to consumers as such. Going on to the first type of a revenue model, which is the mail order or the web catalog model. This model has been well established and in use more than 100 years. It was initially called as the mail order catalog model. In this method, the customers are being sent customized mails or adjusted mails based on their requirements and priorities. The customer has an option to choose the products on his convenient timing and then sends back a mail to the business house. In modern days, this has been replaced by web portals which provides these catalogs online. Customer chooses the products, creates a wish list and finally sends the order as such. This system also is accompanied with a well secure payment method. Either many of the payment systems are being available in the online method. Products like accessories, apparels, gifts, books are some of the most commonly purchased products in the web catalog model. Digital content subscription revenue model. Organizations which have properties of intellectual importance are the ones which utilize the digital content subscription revenue model. Here, the organization provides its prospective customers with a subscription rate of their products. The best example would be ProQuest, subscription made by them. The third model in this list is the advertising supported revenue model. In this model, advertisements are also included along with the catalog of the products offered by the business houses. The advertisements covers the cost of operating the organization as well as preparing the content of the web catalog. So, this model is equally a well-established model and is in use for a long time. Consumers, though they have the content being available to them, it is being supported with a lot of advertisements that cannot be avoided at any point of time. The next model in the list is the advertising subscription mixed revenue model. Here, the consumers are forced to pay a minimum subscription fee, along with which advertisements are also accompanied. The content is delivered with the advertisements. So, the users are in a position to view the content along with the advertisements, which cannot be avoided, but the percentage or the weightage of the advertisements in this model is relatively less when compared to the previous model. The best examples would be the newspapers like New York Times and Wall Street Journals, which have these kind of customized services to their users. The next one in the list is the fee for the transaction revenue model. This model actually has a fee which is being levied on the customers, but the fee is based on the number of the transactions or on the size of the transactions that has occurred. It is not unanimous for all the users of a business house. Examples to this kind of a model can be the charges which is being levied by travel agencies, insurance brokers, online audio and video web portals. The last of the revenue models is the fee for service revenue model. This is quite different from the previous model, by which the charges again are being paid by the consumers based on the value of the service that has been provided to them. Examples of these kind of services include things like online games and entertainment zones. The sites actually include a number of premiums for the users along with their basic content. The site visitors can use their content and be profited. Many professional services use these types of revenue models. Thank you.